सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। चैतन्यं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयं यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविधे नमः। So namaste to all of you. So in the previous class of the Upadesha Sahasri, we have finished up to number 10. And in this number 11th verse, the Acharya emphasizes that the concept of mamakaraha, or the aspect of this is mine, that is mine, this is not yours, you are not mine, all this concept. So the Acharya says that such a concept is not good, or such a concept should not be developed by the Advaiti. So because mamakaratvam also is an ego, is a problem. That is, everything is mine. No, I'm okay with everything, but I'm not okay with other people okay with that. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay. Other people, if they are not okay, I'm not bothered. So sometimes like this kind of attitude also can lead you to distancing. So here the concept says that you accept people as they are and you do not try to change the personality of the people. See, sometimes what we do, we try to change the people's personality. That means if we like somebody or if we expect something for which we feel comfortable, then we expect from the other person that they should also reciprocate the same manner. Or you expect them to be performing the same level of competency or level of accomplishment. Whereas everybody is not like this. Second thing is, my idea or your idea will be different from other person's idea also. So here the Acharya says that understand the other person's limitations, understand where the person is coming, and be accommodative and do not try to impose your ideas or do not try to change the person. Because when you try to change the person, you naturally try to imbibe some qualities of the person to understand the person. So it is possible that some of the bad qualities or some of the deficient qualities might come and affect you also. So he says that if something is not working to your liking, then you just have to help the person whatever we can and let them be on their own. So example, in case of people get married, and traditionally, in our culture, especially the older generation, all of us were from the generation. The tradition was that like you do all the whatever matching is required, and then you get married to somebody based on some criteria. If it works, you do not know the person. You only see in the person for maybe 1 or 2 occasions, and then you say yes. Then next day, after 3 months, engagement is over, marriage is over, then your life is starting. Now, what do? You're like, if you don't get adjusted, if it doesn't work out away, what do you keep changing? No. Because the purpose of the marriage itself is, or the purpose of coming together is to correct your perception, correct ourselves, the perception, and to reduce the raga dveshas. Because if you have a like-minded person, supposing everybody is matching everything like this, life will be very boring. There will be no fighting is required. So So spice is required. See, somebody has to say no, then you will say no. Why are you saying no? You get upset. Then you understand Shastram, I'm studying Shastram. Why am I getting upset in this? Then you correct yourself. If everybody says, oh yes, yes, everything is very good, then life is very beautiful, always. Suddenly one aspect of doesn't work out, you do not know how to handle. Both of them don't know how to handle. So what is it? They go to counseling, they have different bitter arguments. They just don't know how to handle the situation, correct? So that's why what it says, an example is given here, means there are always a possibility, like there are a lot of people in the current environment who are looking for 100% match. Like they have a criteria. This person has to be like this, and they will live with the person for 1 year. They are happy to spend 2 to 3 years also like this. And then they may get married, they may not get married, and they will say both of us don't, sorry, our ideas don't match after living for 2 years also. And then they go and meet somebody else, again same thing happens. Why? Because the person who is actually having that relationship or having that connection is actually expecting certain qualities in the other person, and the other person expecting qualities in this person. So both the people are deficient in qualities. So that is why it is not possible, and there will always be dukkham. Whereas here, the Acharya says here that the Advaiti is not like this. When the person Nidhyasana is for the person who has already understood what they are. So he or she should be willing to accept the deficiencies, the difficulties which are there, and then work with the person. Treat them as equal. Do not get involved in conversion or changing somebody's ideas. Correct? So that's what it says here. This verse. Let's look at this one. Mametamitam chatate madhidrisham. Mamedamittam chatadedamidrisham. Tata haveham na paro na vanyata. Tata hamevam na paro na vanyata. Vimoodataivam na janasya kalpana. Vimoodataivam na janasya kalpana. Sada same brahmani chadvaye shive. Mamedamittam chatadedhamidrisham. Tatahamevam na paro na vanyata. Vimoodataivam na janasya kalpana. Sada same brahmani chadvaye shive. So this verse is to remind ourselves the negating mamakara. So mama idham. So mama idham means what? This is mine. So mama idham means this is mine. Then cha itham. So mama idham cha itham. So this is my nature. So this is of this nature. That person is of this nature. So mama idham and cha itham. And itham means what? This is of this nature, or this is of this particular type. Then tata idam idrisham. So also this is so. So this is so, this is yours, or this is not mine, and this is mine. So all this is not mine, this is mine, this is yours, and this is that. All this, that, all these things we talk about, they're all happening, they're all part of the mamakara. That means the person doesn't have anything called this is mine. So when you acquire knowledge, what do you say? This is my knowledge. Don't say like this, because the knowledge itself is not yours. Knowledge belongs to the Bhagavan. And the knowledge itself is given to you by somebody. So you can never claim ownership of the knowledge of yours, because the ultimate owner of the knowledge is Bhagavan. So you always say that this is not my knowledge. This is my Guru's blessing. So because the Guru is there, the knowledge is given to you. And the teacher also, to whom the teacher is teaching, also is given by the other teacher. So it's a tradition. So it has go to the Shiva also. That's why we never claim knowledge to be ours or anything to be here. We do not own anything here. So mama idam, so you must not have this feeling. Mama idam, this is mine. Chaitam means this is of this nature. Ittam means of this nature. Then tata also idam idrisham. So this is so. This is also like this. So this is so, that is this, and this is mine. Then ahamevam also. So ahamevam in what? I am the only one. I am so. I am the only one here. Only one in terms of what? Mamakara. It doesn't talk about the aspect of self-knowledge. So I am the only person who knows this. I'm the only person capable of doing this. I'm the only person jnani here. Everybody else is a jnani, or they are not up to my nature. All these are all ahankara and mamakara. Correct? So this mamakara has to be removed. Correct? Then, so ahamevam na paraha. Correct? Others are not so. So na paraha. See, all these are important words. Na paraha, ahameva, idam idrisham, itham, mama idam. So all these are words which indicate ownership or possessiveness. So the possessiveness should be removed. How do we remove possessiveness? By accepting things as they are. So we are studying this. Somebody comes and studies is okay. Somebody doesn't come and study is okay. Somebody is getting angry is okay. Do not get worried about trying to convert the person. So and so. So accept everything as part of the nature and just go with the flow. So just accept the people, just understand where they are, and do not react to situations just unnecessarily. Because you always have a choice of doing an action, not doing an action, or doing a different action. Correct? So you have all the three are with you. Either you can respond directly to the person saying that you are useless. You can say that you don't have to say anything. Correct? You feel that there is a wrong argument, somebody is talking, all gibberish, you can choose not to say anything also. You can walk away. Also, another action is you can do some other action also. By educating the person, or you can say in some other way you can tell it also. So there are different ways, and this is what is said here. So mama idham cha itham tata idam idrisham ahamevam na paraha, then na vanyataha. So na vanyataha means what? Not considering otherwise. So there is no consideration otherwise. So it is possible that a person could be like this, or situation could be like this. No, it is not possible at all. It has to be like this only. There is no other way I'll accept it. It has to be like this. So all these things are what possessiveness, which will bring into you disappointment, or it will bring into you some amount of dissatisfaction. So the author is trying to say here that for an Advaiti, for a person practicing Nididhyasanam, these obstacles are going to come. So these are obstacles. So obstacles sometimes will say, no, this is all mine. This is my hard-earned work. I've actually written all my notes. I'm not going to give it to anybody else. I'm not going to teach anybody else anything else. This is all my own property. So you hold on to that as mine. You give information, limited information. So all these things are called, they are all for a Nididhyasana person, you must remove it. So mama idam chaitam tata idam idrisham ahamevam na paraha na vanyata. Correct. So all these things are vimudata evam. So vimudata evam means what? Vimudata evam. So this is all the imagination na janasya kalpana means what? So this is all evam janasya kalpana. So this is all imagination. Kalpana means imagination. These are all imagination of a person who is vimudaha, not a mature person. So vimudaha means an ajnani, a person who is not a mature person, have this idea of mama idam, ittam, tata idam, idrisham, ahamevam, na paraha, na vanyata. All these are the imagination or the expression of the person who is a vimudaha. So vimudata evam janasya kalpana, nacha brahmani, and not in Brahman. Correct. So nacha brahmani, sada same brahmani cha advaye shive. Correct. So what he says here, these things are not in Brahman. So Nacha Brahmani means what? These things are not present in Brahman. These things are not present in the person who considers himself to be Brahman. So if we think that we are Brahman and we are self-knowledge, then we do not have any place for Mamaidam, Ittam, Idam Idrisham, Ahamevam, na Paraha, na Vanyataha. So all these things should not be having any place in our thinking or the philosophy. See, this is what difficult part. In the class, everything is okay. But then when you go back to the real world, we are confronted with a situation where we cannot come back. See, now if you go to the office, right, and you say, is this yours? This is not mine. Na idam, na mamaha. You have to say it is mine, because confusion with transactional reality and absolute reality is important. See, in transactional reality, you'll have to claim ownership of what is rightfully yours. But in terms of absolute reality, it is not. Correct. So you have to also understand that when I'm working in the office, something which is pertinent to me, I claim ownership. Yes, this is my work. You cannot say that this is not my work. Somebody asks, why is not your work? But this is actually not my work, because I am Brahman. I do not have any responsibilities and I'm free from all these things. You cannot say this. It is only for understanding cognitively. So the situation is managed by what? That whatever you accept responsibility, the results may come positive or negative. So whichever way it comes, I'll accept it and I'll live with it as my prarabdha. I do not question it. I do not actually get agitated by a situation. That is what is meant by this. Right? So Nacha Brahmani, Sada Same means what? I am the present in all. Sada Same, Samaha means equal. Sada means all. So Sada Same, Advayaha Shivaha. I am the non-dual and auspicious. I am the one which is Advayam, and Shivaha represents auspiciousness, Mangalam, or purity. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita also, you'll see in chapter 6, verse number 9, he talks about the Sadhushvapicha Papeshu Samabuddhir Vivishyate. So if you go to chapter 6 and verse number 9, you will see the reference there. So a jnani is a person who's got samabuddhi, samattva buddhi. Samattva buddhi also is one of the quality of the karma yogi. Right? You remember the pancha buddhi which you told. Samattva buddhi also equanimity, that you remain equal in any situation, whether it is heat and cold, pain and pleasure, likes and dislikes, anything which is there, you remain unaffected, or you do not get reacted to the situation. Because these come and go. They're not going to be permanent. So today, people don't like you, tomorrow they may like you. Today there is heat, tomorrow there will be cold. So you don't react to situations as they come. That is the Siddha Pragya Ka Bhashaha, correct? He says, so Siddha Pragya means what? How does Siddha Pragya sit? Ka Asitaha. Ka Bhashaha. What does he speak? Is a question asked by Arjuna, and is an elaborate discussion of Sthita Pragya in Bhagavad Gita. The same thing has to be realized here, that Sthita Pragya means what? Sthitaha means established, Pragya means knowledge. The person whose knowledge is established firmly will always have Samattva Buddhi. You don't have to worry about it, because knowledge is actually firmly established. It is unshaken knowledge, it's completely clear. So for such a person, it is easy to follow this. For a person who doesn't have that quality yet, that means the person who has not yet gone through the Karma Yoga philosophy, is not following the Karma Yoga still in full, and is yet to mature as a person, such a person will not be able to enjoy the benefit of Nidhyasana. Nidhyasana will only work for a person who has already accomplished Karma Yoga, who has already been a Karma Yogi and is still a Karma Yogi, and has transgressed or gone into the aspect of Jnanam, then Shravanam, Maranam, and all those things which are there still is being pursuing. So Swayam, Swadhyaya Buddhi, Samattva Buddhi, Ishvara Buddhi, right? All those things we discussed in the Karma Yoga. So all the buddhis have to be, or the right values has to be there with the person for him to assess the situation. So when these things are there, then there is no question of, mama idam buddhi. So this is not there. Because in reality, none of them, nothing belongs to us here. Even the most desired physical body, how much we really, care about it, this doesn't belong to us. If it belongs to us, we would have by now secured everything. Right? You could have secured everything and saying that this body, let me preserve it for so many years. Even the mummy also, people there. If you go to Egypt, people say it is there, but it's already like a skeleton. When they go and discover it, it will not be in the same situation as a person died before, many centuries ago. Right? So we do not have a right over anything. That's why it says, Mama idam na, ittam na, idam idasham naha, ahamevam naha, na paraha, na vanyataha, vimudata evam janasya kalpana, sada same advaye shive. So mametamitam nachade damidrisham tatahamevam na paro na vanyatha vimudataevam na janasya kalpana sada same brahmani chadvaye shive. So just as another example is, see, in the case of a salt or a chili, right? Salt, the taste will never be changed. Whatever you do, salt will always be salty only, correct? Can you try to change? No, I will try to change the salt taste into sweet. Is it possible? It is not possible because salt will be salty and chili always will be chili only, correct? So accepting that fact and working with that. No, I will try to change the chili taste into something different. Or chili taste will become very sweet. It is not because the swarupam of the chili is hot. Swarupam of salt is like this. So what do? You use them in the capacity as required. So you use that particular product ingredient in the capacity as required. And you do not try to force anything or change anything. Because when you try to change something, that is where we land into problems. So we try to change, our ideas. So we study Shastram now. So what do? We go and tell, see, Nagalam Shastram Padikram, see, you're all Atma, you're not, I don't know what you're studying. So other person will come and say, oh, you're all studying Shastram, you don't know all these things. Still, same Ahankara is there, same angriness is there, same thing is there. What have you benefited from all these things? That question also will come. Because when we deal with situation, we sometimes get angry also. So it is not that, no, I would never get angry. Because we do. Some situations will provoke you, and at that moment you feel to say something and you respond, or if you don't respond also is a problem. If you don't respond also, you are taken as what, not interested, or you're taken as what, neglecting the particular job. But you yourself know that you are neglecting it, you are postponing it, or you are giving less priority to the job. That's what it is. Is it correct? But it is mistaken by the person as neglecting, because the person is Ajnani, or he may not know what it is, what you're thinking about it. So what do? If somebody says, oh, you think I'm neglecting? No, I'm not neglecting. I'll come and do it. No, I can't do it now. So he said, I will do it later. So he consistently has the same message, and when the situation becomes out of control, you can just keep quiet. Because it is not going to change anything. This is all practical thing which happens in life. So Nididhyasana actually works for such a person. This is reality, because it happens to me, it happens to, I'm sure everybody who is a grahastha has to deal with situation. Everybody is working in the office. Everybody is having a business. Because there are always interaction. Customers don't like certain things. Managers behave differently, staff behave differently. They have their own problems. They come from different situations where they're working there. And as a person, you see through all these things. And you do not react to situations, you just gauge and say, oh, is there anything I can do here? If you think you cannot change anything, you just keep quiet. Let the person say whatever he wants, he'll settle down. After that, you can go and say to him that this is what I meant, or this is what we should do. Because when the situation is hot, let him respond, it will become more hot. So that's what it says here, that all these qualities which are there has to be understood and the person has to be steady. So that's why this sthira buddhi is sama buddhi vishishyate. So sadhu shvapicha papeshu means sadhu is sama buddhi vishishyate. So the person has got special buddhi. It is called unique buddhi, which is available only in a sadhu. It is not available in any other person. Then next one. So the next verse, number 12, talks about the nature of the liberation. So this talks about the phalam, or it talks about the benefit of such a nididhyasanam and how a person can benefit. Yadbhayam jnanamativa nirmalam. Yadbhayam jnanamativa nirmalam. Mahatmanam tatra na shoka mohata. Mahatmanam tatra na shoka mohata. Dvayam jnanamativa nirmalam. Mahatmanam tatra na shoka mohata. Tayorabhave nahi karma janmava. Tayorabhave nahi karma janmava. Bhavedayam veda vida vinishchayaha. Bhavedayam veda vida vinishchayaha. Yadvayam jnanamativa nirmalam. Mahatmanam tatra na shoka mohata. Tayorabhave nahi karma janmava. Bhavedayam veda vida vinishchayaha. So, yad advayam jnanam athiva nirmalam. So advayam means this non-dual knowledge. Jnanam, we say non-dual knowledge or pure knowledge is understood very clearly. Then athiva nirmalam means what? It is pure. So nirmalam itself means what? Is without any dirt. Nirmalaha, without any impurities, without any blemishes. And athiva nirmalam means what? Pure. Or more, very pure. So knowledge itself, it manifest becomes knowledge, you say this. So pure knowledge is unmanifest knowledge. Right? So knowledge, when it is manifested through the upadhis, become the objects and is called knowledge. But knowledge which is not manifest and is untouched by any of the upadhis, it's called pure knowledge. It is separated only for the manifestation point of view. So here it talks about athiva nirmalam. So the extremely pure knowledge, or this jnanam, which is of the nature of advayam, is present in what? Mahatmanam. So in the great souls. So Mahatmana means what? In the great people. So Mahatma. So Mahatma. So Mahatma is equal to Mahatma. That means the person who's got a good vision of what Atma is called Mahatma. So Mahatmanam, in the great people, when it is present, what happens? Tatra na shoka mohata. So there is no shokam and moham. So there is no delusion, there is no sadness. So shokam and moham both are not there. So there is no delusion and there is no sadness, because Atma does not have any of these capabilities, it doesn't have any of these attributes. So for this thing to happen, for the knowledge to be, when knowledge becomes ripe, then the person does not differentiate, it remains equanimity, equal in situation of sorrow and also pleasure. So when something really very bad happens, he does not get upset. At the same time, when something really works, beautifully, he doesn't get rejoiced. So he is very steady. It doesn't really affect the person. This is the quality of the Mahatmanaha, or the great people who have achieved this knowledge. What knowledge? Advayam jnanam. So this knowledge of Advayam, non-dual nature, has been received, which is of the nature of Athiva Nirmalam. pure knowledge, which is very pure knowledge, there is no grief or delusion. There is no na tatra na shoka mohata. Right? Therefore, tayoho abhave. So tayor bhave, you should break it as tayoho abhave nahi karma janma. So therefore, so abhave means in the absence of the two. Tayoho abhave, in the absence of these two. What are these two? Shoka mohata. So there is no shokam and there is no moham. So there is no sorrow, and there is no really any attachment or desires. So when you don't have any of these things, and when you are advayam jnanam ativa nirmalam, when you have understood this philosophy or this particular ownership, then nahi karma janma. So there is no question of you taking birth again. The concept of birth will not be even thought about you. So when somebody says, oh, I'm an Advaiti, I'm actually a non-dual person, I'm Atma, Aham Atma, Aham Atma, Aham Atma. Right? Say this. But then when somebody asks, so what will happen? See, one day I'm going to die. See, I don't know next Janma what will happen. Immediately it will come to you. For such a person, what does it do? He says, somebody asks, you can tell this, but cognitively you know that you're not a physical body. You're really not, there's no really death for you, there's no Janma for you. Because Janma and Maranam is only for the body. It is not actually for the Atma, which is of the nature of Advayam and which is Nirmanam. Right? That's what it says here. So this Jnanam has to be registered very clearly. Tayoho abhave, in the absence of these two, nahi karma janma va bhavedayam vedavidam vinishchayaha. Correct. So there cannot be any karma. See, karma is what? Action. So only with the physical body you do the action. Correct. So if at all somebody asks, why do you need a physical body? What answer will you say? You need a physical body because we have to do action. Some action you should do. Even blinking of an eye is an action. Thinking also an action. Thoughts, action. Sleeping, anything you do is an action. And all of these are done by the karma indriyas, the pranaha, manaha, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Correct? All the 17 indriyas are there. They do this job. When you have accepted the fact that I am neither of these things, then why do you need, there's no karma to be done anymore. So karma is not required. Therefore, I don't need a physical body. That's why it says here, nahi karma janma va bhavet. So there cannot be any room for a thinking that I need to be reborn again or do karma again. That is why for a jnani, karma leaves the person, we say, he does not get affected by non-performance of a karma. Because the jnanam is very fully established. If he doesn't do karma, he's already doing something else. Some other text, some other nidhyasanam is being recollected, and some other things are being done. So karma will leave the person automatically. You do not need to do any great effort to do that. I have to, tomorrow I will stop doing this. It will just leave you automatically. You will see yourself slowly that your mind will now get attached to this kind of shastra study and nidhyasana, making notes, attending this kind of things, in which case you will not get time to do other things. So when you don't get time to other things, what do you feel? There's a guilty feeling, correct? Dosha, right? So pratyavaya dosha, remember we talked about? So pratyavaya dosha is what? By non-performance of an activity, you feel that there is a defect in you. Oh my God, I didn't do today this particular thing. I think I've done some papam. So tomorrow I'll do prashittam. So what do? You do tomorrow prashittam in the morning, and again you do the same thing tomorrow. So this aspect need not be in a person. That's what it says here, because jnanam is fully established. You do not need to be worried about doing karma or not doing karma, because it is actually now beyond everything. You have come to the stage of understanding where knowledge is supreme. Nidhyasanam is there, and karma is only for you do because you have to do as what nitya karma you do. But you do not do this for any more antakarana shuddhi, or do not do this for any more punyam. You know what I'm saying? You do not do this anymore for gaining more. If I'll get more punya, more clarity. No, because clarity is already there. If clarity is not there only, then you do this for getting your mind pure or getting antakarana shuddhi for getting clarity. After getting clarity, you do not question whether I have antakarana shuddhi or not. Because at this stage of the study, when this is there, you would already surpassed or you would already got that level of knowledge where jnanam is very steady. You do not have any doubt, secondary doubt at all. That's what it says here. Nahi karma janma va bhave, ayam veda vida vinishchayaha. So what is this? I am. So veda vidam means I am the knower of all the Vedas. And this is my vinishchayaha conclusion. So I am the knower of everything. So there is no other knower other than me. I am the ultimate knower, and this is the conclusion, or this is the conclusion one arrives due to the effort done by the person in the previous, 10 verses 11 we talked about, right? So yet advayam jnanam ativa nirmalam mahatmanam tatra na shoka mohata tayoho abhave nahi karma janma va bhavedayam veda vidham vinishchayaha. So there is no question of me either taking karma, janma, or rebirth again, because I am understanding that I am veda vidham vinishchayaha. In fact, in verse number 211, right? There's a famous mantra there. Doesn't come to me now, I think, but it's a very famous mantra where it talks about that the wise person doesn't grieve about anything. The wise person does not grieve about anything which is in which he cannot control it. Correct? See, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam mritasya janmacha tasmat pariharyete anashoshita panditaha. Right? So that which is born, jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuhu, that which is born will die. And dhruvam, indeed, mritasya janmacha. So that which is dying will always be reborn. So tasmat apariharyete, there is no pariharam for this. So you are not going to change anything, you are not going to change anything, because these things are all transitory. They are going to die, they are going to reborn. So you na shoshita panditaha. See, shoshita pandita means what? The panditaha does not grieve about these things, because the pandita understands. Pandita means what? A wise person. Here, the pandita talks about is mahatmanam. So mahatmanam in the wise person, there tatrana shoka mohata, same things talks about here. So tatrana shoka, there is no place for grief or sorrow, and thereby the person doesn't have any question of nahi karma janma va bhave. So there cannot be any birth or any action for the person, because he does not worry about any of these things. And ayam veda vidam vinishchayaha. So this is the conclusion of the knowers of the Vedas. So this is a very firm conclusion of the person who knows the Vedas. Then the next verse talks about the Jivan Mukti is the essence of this. So Jivan Muktaha. So how Jivan Mukti is attained is being talked about in this verse. Shushuptavajjagratiyo na pashyati. Shushuptavajjagratiyo na pashyati. Dvayam tu pashyannapi chadiyatvataha. Dvayam tu pashyannapi chadayatvataha tata cha kurvannapi nishkriyaschayaha Tata cha kurvannapi nishkriyascha yaha sa atma vinnaya itiha nishchayaha sa atma vinnanya itiha nishchayaha. So shushupta vat jagrati yo na pashyati. So yaha means what? The person. Yaha means the person or the he or the who, the person. Dvayam pashyan api means, see, dvayam pashyan api means what? Dvayam means duality. Okay. Advayam means non-duality. So dvayam pashyan api means even though a person is perceiving duality. So we are all perceiving duality. At the moment when we say, who are you? You cannot say that I am Atma. When I ask you that, who are you? You say, I am so-and-so person. I live in this place. This is the reality. Everybody sees this. So even a jnani also sees this. But what does the person think? That even though the person is seeing duality, natu pashyati, but does not see. So even though the person is seeing duality, he does not see this in absolute reality. So transactional reality is being seen, but what does he do? He deduces this reality or transactional reality in absolute reality. So he removes it. Just as when you go to the beach, when you watch the waves, you watch the waves like everybody else. You also talk to them, enjoy with the waves. At the same time, what do? Cognitively, you remove the waves, you remove the foam, and then you arrive only the water. Finally, what do you see? Even though you see the waves, you see only the water. Right? That's what it says here. So even though you see yourself as physical body, the mind, etc., but in reality, you do not see that as absolute reality. Hope you got it right. So this is the truth. It means even though you see things in duality, you cannot say to other person that I don't have duality. See, now you cannot talk to them like this. Then they will say there's a problem with you. So you don't see me as a person, you see me as Atma. What is Atma? Then you'll have to start all over again. So why do you want to get into controversy? You just say that, oh yes, I see you, being a so and so. But what do you also see? That he's also just like me, the same essence is present in him. He is only a manifestation of the same consciousness in different country, different place, different kulam, gotram, etc. But in reality, I am not different from him. He is not different from me. This is the understanding which is called natu pashyati. So even though you see the duality in the person, natu pashyati does not see a duality. In what state? Jagrati. So you may ask, okay, so when does it happen? Jagrati, in waking state also. So even when you are fully awake, that means all your eyes are open, your ears are functioning, all your taste buds are functioning, everything is functioning. In waking state also, this jnanam has to be registered. This concept of duality has to be seen, then has to be removed, saying that I really don't see duality in this, because you see yourself as the Atma next step. So first step is to see the duality, the waves, then you remove the waves and arrive at the water, cognitively, correct? It's only cognitive, physically you cannot do anything. You cannot separate the waves, not the water, because the space between water and waves is not there at all. So there's no question of you separating it. How do you separate it? Only by jnana, by knowing that the essence, the truth of the substratum of what is understand, correct? The adharam for the waves is the water. So the adharam for the physical body is the Atma. The mind is the Atma. Right? So adharam for the physical body, mind, sense complex is the Atma. So what do? You see the body, the mind, sense complex, you see the actions being done, etc. You see all the punyam, papam, whatever you see there, but then what do? In reality, these don't affect me at all. So you tend to ignore or you tend not to see them as the absolute truth. That's the meaning of the word natu pashyati. So natu pashyati means, no, I don't see. No, you don't see it cognitively, you remove it. That means physically you don't see it, cognitively. in Jagrati, in waking. Shushuptavat means even in sleep also, like in sleep. So just as when you sleep, in deep sleep state, do you find any duality? You do not find any duality. You do not even know who you are. You do not know your relative. You do not know your son. You do not have any attachment, no bandhaha, no problems, no office, no work. You don't even know who you are. Correct? So you become one. So where is the duality gone? The duality was there before, but the duality got resolved in the unmanifest. So the unmanifest is what the Atma. Correct? So the Atma itself is unmanifest, but it is manifesting itself through its power called Maya Shakti as the body mind sense complex, and through the power of the mind, the vrittis, the objects in this universe are being lit. So the objects are being seen as reality. So that's what it says here, that just as in sleep, you remove that. Then Advaitvataha. So due to this knowledge of non-duality, Tatacha, and also Yaha Kurvan api Nishkriyaha. So even though you do the activity, Yaha Kurvan api na Nishkriyaha. Api Nishkriyaha means what? Even though you're doing action, you are actionless. Even though you're, remember Bhagavad Gita, correct? So he says that even though Krishna says what? Even though I am the Paramatma, Atma, I still do the activity for the Loka Sangraha I come and do here, yet I am not a doer. These things don't bother me because I am really not the physical form you see here. Correct? So even in sleep also, or in waking state also, just as Advayam should be practiced, or non-duality should be understood. And because of that, Tatacha, and also Yaha Kurvan api Nishkriyaha. So even Kurvan means what? Even when I do the action, I am Nishkriyaha, I am actionless. Saha Atmavit. So who is this? This person is the knower of the Atma. And na anya itiha nishchayaha. So there cannot be anything other than that. There is nobody else. So na anya means what? There is no other. Iti itiha nishchayaha. Nishchaya means certainly there is nobody other than this. So I am the Atma. There is no other person other than the Atma. There is nothing else other than the Atma, the consciousness. This is my conviction or pure knowledge, certain clear knowledge. So when you have this, what? You are Jivan Mukta. You see, Jivan Mukta is what? Living this life itself, you understand that I am not a doer. And even see, all my actions are being done by the physical body mind sense complex, which are doing on their own. But in reality, I, the Atma, is actually of the nature of actionless. So I do not do action at all. So thereby all the punyam, papam, etc. are not applicable for me. Therefore, I'm always free. So I'm actually muktaha. So even when I'm living this life, I'm just muktaha. I do not need to die to become free. See, kama mukti is different. So videha mukti is different, correct? So videha mukti means when you leave the physical body, at that time you say that, okay, I'm this. But right now, when you're living the life, you are Jivan Mukta. All of us can be Jivan Mukta, provided we have the view that yes, I'm doing the action, and these actions are being done by the Indriyas, and these are actually part of the Prakriti. They are doing their actions according to their dharma. Like nature dharma means what? Seeing. The act of seeing is you're not making the eyes see. I see because they are there. There is a dharma to see. Ears are there because they see, they hear. Correct? Touch, you feel the touch because even though the wind is there, you can't stop it. So it is all happening. All of them. When you walk, you just walk. You say, I am walking. When you say, are you really walking? You are just doing an action while walking. Right? The legs walk themselves because they are programmed to walk. Buddhi, intellect thinks. Say, I am thinking. Are you thinking? The Buddhi does a job. That is dharma. So when you remove all these things, say that, oh, they are all doing the job on their own. They are all supposed to be doing the job, and I'm just a Shakshi, I'm the witness. I'm witness to all these things happening there. I myself do not have any partake in this. That's why it says here what? Yaha kurvan api nishkriyaha. So even though I am doing the action, I am actually actionless. Okay. So in verse number 2, chapter number 2, verse number 69 of the Bhagavad Gita, you can refer. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyito munaihe. So when people are asleep, this jnani is awake. It does not mean that when people are sleeping, this jnani is awake. Don't take like this. So he's not a nocturnal person. What it says here, when the ajnanis are actually not knowing, this jnani knows even at any point of time. That means he's awake all the time. So Yanisha Sarva Bhutana. Nisha means they are all in deep sleep state, or they are all in deeply in ignorance. Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami. So this jnani is awake. And awake to what? When awake to the truth. So in Jagrati also is there. Sushuptavat also is there as Advaitvataha. Due to the knowledge of Advayam, of non-duality, he is able to achieve this. Such a person is called Saha Atmavit. Atmavit, the person who knows the truth. And for such a person, there is no other person, na anya itiha nishchayaha. There is no other person other than the Atma. So you can say, is there something else other than the Atma? No. You are the Atma, and there is no other person other than the Atma. So I am the Aham Atma, I am Atma, Tattvamasi, all this Mahavakyam is introduced here. So this is called Jivan Mukti. So Jivan Mukti is to be understood cognitively. Is it clear? So we'll stop the class here and we will do the remaining verse number 13 and 14, and that should complete this topic. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubhratri to all of you. Hari Om. Jaishankar, for you, we had Upanishad class yesterday. I'll post it on the recording YouTube. You can listen to that.